This is Madeline Dale, and this evening I have with me an awesome author. He's a good friend. We've been on several shows together. I'm making him blush. You'll see him in a second, but I'm going to let him introduce himself and tell us a little bit about his work and what he's got going on.
So greetings, fellow humans. I am JD Estrada. I am your furry. I'm a little less scruffy because I actually cleaned one of these days, even during the pandemic. I know some people think that the pandemic is over, but I'm from Puerto Rico. I live in Atlanta because I wanted to see the Walking Dead real live show, season premiere. Apparently, I've been at this for going on 9 years. I've published 18 books that span poetry, urban fantasy, middle grade, nonfiction. I have a special project called Blank Comics. We can talk about that later. And I have a bilingual collection, and we can talk about that too. That's called 2020, which is 20 pieces in English, 20 pieces in Spanish. That includes poetry, essays, and short stories. And there's a bilingual poem in the middle because I can speak Spanish y cambiar de un idioma to the other one and maintain grammar y sintaxis sin perderme, because that's pretty much how my brain is wired. Both engines are constantly running.
That is fascinating. I actually I saw one of your books looking at your list of books on Amazon, and I saw the one that it looks like it was both English and Spanish. I was like, oh, that's really cool, because I've always wanted to be fluent in Spanish. I've taken Spanish classes since high school, but it's not if you don't use it, you lose it kind of thing. So
the same happened. I took 3 years of French, then I had a bad experience with one professor, and I lost most of it. Fortunately, I'm pretty good with accents, so if I retake it. The curious thing about French and Italian and Portuguese is that since they're all Romance languages, I basically have to deconstruct what I've learned in Spanish and relearn like a different, you take the language and you go because they're pretty similar, but they're different enough that it's a pain to learn. And each one has its own nuances. In terms of Italian, you have to pronounce every single letter that's in a word. That's why Italians say pizza. They say the pizza and then the za. And stracciatella, and they have everything like that. And French people, it's just like they're speaking in cursive because everything's like. It is a fascinating language. They're all fascinating languages, and anything that lets you, communicate and contact with more people, I'm always gonna be for. Why limit yourself apart from time and focus and shiny objects?
Yes, shiny objects. We've always called that the ooh shiny disorder. Me and my friends, we cracked ourselves up about it, gave each other a hard time about it because we all got distracted so easily. So go ahead and tell me, is Rhymes from the Wicked Nursery, is that your most recent published piece?
Yes, this is my most recent book. I think the best description and the best or most accurate review, someone described it as if it was worthy of being included in the Addams Family bedtime routine. And that's what I was going for. I wanted to have darker rhymes, but have them be more fun. A couple are a bit darker than I meant to be. Some people went like, man, that was creepy. And I'm like, that's the purpose. Yeah, but these are really fun. And then this one's creepy. And I'm like, and this one's gross. And they go like, yeah, that one's gross too. And I go like, that's the idea. Just wanted to have a lot of fun, and it was a ton of fun. So that's the most recent one. The funny thing is that was for my birthday, August 13th, because it was a Friday the 13th, and I wanted to celebrate in style.
Hey, that's a great way to do it with that book. Because I totally want to add it to my shelf and get it. Yeah.
People seem to be enjoying it. The curious thing is that earlier in the year, I always publish a book for Mother's Day. That's my tradition since about 2014. Every Mother's Day, even if mom has passed, that's like my tribute to her and to all moms, because moms are awesome. And I wanted to do something that was like a Mother's Day gift, and I did one. I don't have it right here. It's somewhere there, and I'm not gonna leave and leap. But it's called Ballads of Hope and Joy. And the thing is that one's very light and very positive and very sweet. And then you have this one, which is Wicked. And so it's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde kind of a publishing year for me.
It sounds like it, but hey, I mean, it's we're living in crazy times, like with the whole pandemic stuff. Like you mentioned, it's not over yet. So, I mean, a lot of like here in Oklahoma, everybody likes to pretend that it's not existing, but it's like, hey, here we go. We've got another strand of it.
Yeah, I'm in Georgia. What can I say? Coming from Puerto Rico, people in Puerto Rico have. I went there in July, and everyone was like wearing face masks and what can I do and blah blah blah. And then I came back here, and people were like, "Yeah, I don't have to do anything." And I'm like, it was kind of a culture shock. And again, people were like, "Man, they were really strict in Puerto Rico," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's a good thing."
Mhm.
But that's me, and I know that everyone's gonna have their own thing, and we're not gonna focus on that because we're gonna have fun and we're gonna chat books. That is
Yes.
the spiel of that we're going to talk about COVID. COVID invades everything, but
It does. It does.
we shall block it.
Yes. That's what books are for. Escape in a book, escape in your writing. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Buy our books and escape in them.
You have several ways that you can escape. If you have a lot of time on your hands, I didn't mention blank comics. I'm going to put it out there because and just to really pivot on and talk about something different. This is blank comics.
Oh, that's cool.
Have you ever seen what a variant cover is with comics or no?
No, I don't think I have.
Those are
If I
comics.
did, I didn't know what it was.
They literally sell you the comic with a blank cover.
Okay.
So that you can go to conventions and whatnot and have the artist that or different artists draw like a cover or whatever. You can draw it too. And I'm like, I took that concept and I basically did an entire comic out of it.
Oh,
So
that is so cool.
you have the dialogue, you have the panels, and then you have the description of what's in the panels. Where did this idea come from? It's kind of a couple of things. First off, I normally do tributes and Easter eggs and whatnot. Mom's a character in my books. My wife is a character. Friends of mine are characters. I'm in some of my books, literally me and the figurative literary version of me. It's two different ways because I'm nuts that way. In the Daydreams of the Sherbet Shore, it is JD that you're going to see in the stories. But in Given to Fly and the Human Cycle, which is my urban fantasy collection, you're going to see a character called Fayed Odstein, and that is my literary persona. Eventually, they will talk, and you will see that they're very different because who I am with books and whatnot, and who I am as a person are actually two different things. And it's not that I have a split personality; it's just that when you're dealing with work and life and stuff, well, that's kind of part of you. So I wanted to express that duality. But in terms of blank comics, my grandmother was actually, she had advanced glaucoma, so she was about 90% blind. If she looked at you, she would only see like, the outline, the silhouette.
Mm-hmm.
And she was from Cuba, and she told me these vivid, wonderfully descriptive stories, and she was blind. And I was like, I wanted to do a tribute to her and not just a character. So basically, I did this where I fully fleshed out original stories, original characters, and everything. But I need people to help me see the story because as the storyteller, I'm blind. So that's the thing. That is one aspect. The other aspect is that I normally go to the Puerto Rico Comic Con. This coming 2022, unless something even more drastic happens, I will be in Puerto Rico for the Puerto Rico Comic Con. You will see me as a ninja or as Scorpion or as something that has a face mask on, but you will see me there. A couple of years back, they did a talent scouting. I'm not sure if it was for Marvel or DC. I always forget.
Still, that is awesome. Like super awesome.
The thing is that about 200 hopefuls went with their portfolios. And everyone was pumped up, and they chose like 2 people, and there were a lot of bummed up, like wah wah wah, like Charlie Brown, wah wah wah. And I'm like, no, dude, you can do it, blah blah blah. But rather than just like a momentary pep talk or something, I wanted to do something for artists from Puerto Rico or from anywhere that they can do for their portfolio. Not all artists, but some artists are just artists. They're not they don't want to write the story plus make the art. They just want to draw the art and focus on the vision and the craft of drawing. And that's where this comes in. The idea is for you to, if you there's JD Estrada and put your name, put it in your portfolio, sell it, and hopefully it'll help at least one person get a job. That was also one of the missions. And the third mission of it, I don't know if you've noticed, but people are not tolerant to points of view lately. It's something that's kind of been going around.
Yeah.
a bit drastic. So imagine that in one of the panels I tell you to draw a house or draw a car or something like that, and I give you just enough description. If you give it to 5 people, you're going to see 5 cars or 5 houses or 5 whatever. And who's right? Everyone's right, and it's just to promote people to understand different points of view and be a little bit more tolerant and understanding of different points of view. So that's the 3-prong approach to the blank comics.
That is awesome and extremely creative. Like I'm fascinated. That is so much into that one little thing, and it is for such a great cause. I'm super impressed, JD. Like that's cool.
I have this one's Tricks and Ladders. It's about a magician and an angel who have a semi-private detective agency, and they solve unsolvable crimes. And there's 3 episodes to that one. There's Raining Dead, which is a Native American, a vampire, and a samurai who are the reason that the zombie apocalypse didn't happen. It's set in 19th century US. It's a lot of fun, and it's different focuses and inviting people because Raining Dead, you're going to see a splash cover quite, because if you see horror comics, they have that approach. And Tricks and Ladders is a lot more quirky and magical, and it could even be kiddie if you want it, and that's a beautiful thing. Eventually, I want enough success so that I can see this and see someone do like an anime version.
Yeah.
And then another person like go noir, and another person like different styles. I would love to see that. So I have those 2. And I do have 2 other concepts, but each of those only has 1 episode. One is Lily Stargazer, which is, the thing is that with dreams, everything that we dream actually exists somewhere else. And she travels to other galaxies to explore these dreams and take pictures so that she can make the most epic scrapbook in existence. That is the concept. And the other one, I've tried to get like teachers on board. It's called the Math Marauders. And I just want to make math fun, because on one occasion, a freelance job I had a couple of years back, actually several from the same company, I had to translate a math book.
Ooh.
Try to imagine JD went to the supermarket and he bought 5 apples and a dozen eggs, and I'm like, this is for 8-year-olds. 8-year-olds are not going to care about the supermarket. And I think there's more fun ways to teach math. Obviously, I'm not a teacher. Obviously, I do know my ABCs and my math. But the idea is to eventually partner with a teacher or several teachers just to try to do like a curriculum in a creative and very fun way, and not just do it like, they went to a supermarket or they went to a pet shop, or the examples that are just so boring and so lame. There's no reason education has to be lame. I don't know why they insist on making it lame. The teachers that made it fun for me in college, in high school, and in grade school are the ones that I remember, and those are the lessons that stuck.
Yes. When you have a teacher that makes it fun, it does stick. I definitely agree with that, because I absolutely hated math, especially those kind of problems. So.
With math, if it was geometry, I enjoyed it. Everything else, I was like, and it's cool to learn a skill and learn a way to do something and eventually get the solution to a problem. But if you see my grades throughout my entire student career, if there was an essay, I would do a hell of a lot better than if it was like, true or false, or multiple choice, or fill in the blanks. I was so bad at those.
Yeah.
So bad.
I think it's the writer in us. It's got to be, because I was the same way. Math stuff, I tried, if I could get out of taking math stuff, I just take the basics to get all my stuff done. And I was like, done with it.
I did avoid taking math in my senior year. Instead of math, I took 3 electives. I took music, I took compared religions, I took some other random course that you go like, what's the good use of that? And I'm like, I didn't have to take math. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, anything to get out of that. I think I can't remember what I took instead. I think it may have been another ag class because we didn't have a whole lot of choices at my school. So
I was like, what can I do? And they were like, well, you can do this, and that. And I'm like, do you need me to do jumping jacks as well? Plus, get in track and field. I'll do whatever it takes. And
yes.
I did, and I really enjoyed my senior year. Oh God, that was great for me.
That's good. So with everything, with so much thought going into your work, what does your writing routine look like? Do you have a routine that you follow?
Working in advertising, and working in communications because I've also worked in PR for like a healthcare company for several years.
Ooh.
I always end up being like the go-to guy, and I'm always in a crunch, and it's always a grind. So basically, I've had to mold my writing routine. Routine is not really a routine. It's like if I see an opportunity to write and I have the will and desire to write, I just write.
Mhm.
If I have to take a notebook, I've known to take a notebook to a bathroom for like 40 minutes to write and say, oh, I don't feel so well, and then I'm scribbling literally in a bathroom stall. I did do that on more than one occasion. I will not say which job. You could guess if you see when I've published or what I've published, or if you talk to enough people, but I will not incriminate myself thusly. Um, but that's why I also write different things. When you write a novel, that takes a lot of focus. That takes a lot of concentration for me. I try to write as much of a chapter in one sitting as possible, and with short stories, I try to bang out a short story. If I'm gonna sit down, I want to have that hour or 2 hours so I can write at least a solid first draft, something that I'm happy with. And if I get into the groove and I keep going, then I just get some water, get some tea, get something to nibble, and I keep on writing. Um, I do write by hand, and I don't always write by hand. It also depends on what I'm working on. And I like to mix things up. A lot of people like a formula, or they have a routine. And apart from everything, I'm also a very, very, very big believer in creativity and doing stuff to keep yourself creative. If you see my social media, every day I try to do something different, and to keep different creativity muscles flexing.
Yeah,
On,
that's great.
on Mondays, I do visual typo. So basically, I do like a lame, punny typo, and then I make a visual representation of that. To give you um, an example, a couple of years back, I did shopping mall, but instead of Mall, I wrote it Maul, and it was Darth Maul with a shopping cart. I'm a writer by trade, and I'm not that good of an artist, and part of the fun of that is also making it look kind of tacky. So I do that on Tuesdays. I do the dictionary. So basically, any word that I can replace a syllable that is ty or te or ti that has like a t or t sound that I can beauty. I can bew a dash and then t, and then I do a definition based on that, and a visual for that. On Wednesdays, and I actually have to do that later because I forgot today. I do sky thoughts, and I get all so sentimental and whatnot, because when I write nonfiction, I try to have a positive impact, and that one is has that focus. It's this, you could say it's the sappy side of me, but it's also where I want my headspace to be at. As for Thursdays, I do Sock It To Me, and every day
Yes.
I wear,
Is that Ninja Turtles?
those are Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
Every day I have fun socks, because if you don't have a party in your shoes, what are you doing? on
Yes.
on on Fridays, I'm not as consistent as I normally am, but I do the double O bananas, where basically I'm a banana secret agent. I enjoy Charlie Chaplin and silent movies and stuff like that. It's not that I'm always watching, but it's something that I always appreciate it. So the setup is simple. You have a set frame, you have the intro that says double O bananas, then I pop out of somewhere, do something, have my banana in hand, a real
Yes.
banana, or my prop banana, and then I do a nod and I walk off the screen. That's it. That is the formula. I have a lot of fun with that. on one occasion, I've been caught by coworkers because after hours I have recorded, and on one occasion I was on top of a bookshelf at least 7 feet, at least 7 feet high. I would have to look that up, but someone walked in and they were like, "What the hell are you doing?" And I'm like, I have the entire video of I'm like, "Am I in frame?" And they go like, "Yeah, you are, but shut up." And it's like, "Okay, go." And then she was like, "Action." And then I did the little thing and voila. Again, if you see me, if you see closely, you're gonna see grays in my beard, and I'm 41, but I never want to act my age. Um, when it's appropriate, yes, I can be serious, and yes, I can be a very professional person. But if not, and you can find a laugh, why the hell not?
Yes, it makes life more fun to not
Yeah,
act your age and be a kid.
no. So I do that, and on off days, I do taste test videos. I normally do those on Tuesdays, and I try all manner of random candy bars and cereal and drinks and anything just for the entertainment of people. I think
I
the
think I
fun
saw there was a cereal, I think, and a candy bar I've seen you do on Instagram recently. So
the cereal was Dunkin' Donuts mocha latte. If you want to try a coffee flavored cereal, that is your go-to. If you like caramel macchiato, they have one with that flavor. I highly recommend that one. That was really good. And in terms of candy bar, if it's got sugar and it's wrapped, I will probably dig in.
nice. And I see that you're silently like repping Joe with your Go Indie Now mug. I love that.
I, I also do. Joe's like a brother from another mother. He is the Godfather, and this is when I have to soup him up and or substitute him in a show. This is the Joe cap, so that I can get in my persona.
Yes.
Um, but we've been through a lot together. He's a great guy. I do indie music reviews for Go Indie Now. I have hosted a couple of shows, and I this week I just if you're looking for video games, independent video games to get on the Nintendo Switch to give someone that you love, I did a guide with about 22 or 23 games that you can check out.
Nice.
I don't get
That is
bored.
awesome. Yeah, no, it's and you're using your creativity differently. So that's good. That's like I want to say a mental health kind of thing, because that's something I'm also like working on collecting from authors, is how they help their mental health. So like what they do.
Journaling and meditation have helped a lot. It's been an intense year for a lot of people, myself included, and I've had to up the activities that I do to maintain my mental health and maintain a positive outlook. Everyone has had a different rough patch that they've gone to. Mine was a couple of weeks ago, um, and it just made me reevaluate a lot of stuff. And I had too much. I was working on too many things, and I was burning the candle. It's not on both ends. I was just chucking it in the bonfire. So I paused most of my projects. I know some people will be disappointed, but if you're that disappointed, you can buy my other books and you can review all my books, and
Yes.
I and get help me reach so many people that I have to keep writing. Until then, it'll be on my terms and on my time. Uh,
Yes. And as an
but
author, like an indie author, that is how it needs to be. Like you've got to take care of your mental health so you can continue to be creative. Because if you're not, it's just not going to happen.
I was working at the same time on 5 projects, and I had I think it was I got to submit to 3 contests before I was like, I gotta tap out. I wanted to do like 10, and I was writing new stuff to submit to each one. I was like, if this doesn't get picked up, I'm just gonna publish it. And then everything was hectic with work and whatnot, and it got to be too much. And I'm like, buddy, take a step back. Nothing's gonna happen. You will get it done. You have done it before. You will do it again. And what I did was just go at my pace and work on other stuff. And I've taken a couple of days to just listen to music or just play video games and just really, really, really rev things down, because I don't know how many posts. Now's the time that you gotta hustle. Now's the time that you gotta write. You gotta go, and you. Oh, swole is the goal, and people with that mentality, and eventually that mentality can get you hurt physically, emotionally, and mentally.
Yep.
So you have to listen to your body, listen to your mind, and again, I had to drop a lot of projects. I had to become a lot more mindful. I thought that I was being mindful, but I was having the. Have you seen Scarface?
Not in a long time. I've only seen bits and pieces of it. So
Okay, but do you know that final scene where he's like, say hello to my little friend? He's on so much cocaine and he gets shot, but I don't know how many rounds of ammunition, and he just keeps going. And that was the mentality. That's the mentality I've had a couple occasions, and eventually, there's just so many bullets you can take,
yeah.
and you don't have to be a super anything. You know, my book is called Only Human, and it's staring me in the face like, you can be a little bit more human, buddy.
Yeah. And it's good to take time for yourself. So
Mhm.
well, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap us up here. So go ahead and tell our viewers where they can find you and your work.
Well, I'm on the Zon, but if you would like my books signed and dedicated, and you live in Puerto Rico or the US, there's a wonderful indie bookstore called Tazas y Portadas. I always pimp them out. They have my books, and the thing is that the dedications there are unique, meaning that if there are 20 books, I did a different dedication for each of the books. And my signature, my handwriting is so bad that it can also vary. So it's Amazon. It is Tazas y Portadas. Check my feeds on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and my blog is for writing out loud, but I'll probably share it elsewhere. Check those places. Check out the stuff that I share on Go Indie Now, because it's always time to go indie now.
Yes.
And get in touch. I love hearing from people, and I love chatting with everyone.
Yes. And you guys, I'm gonna have his information in the comments. So all right, JD, thank you for hanging out with us today.
Cheers. Thank you for having me.